Okay, so we've talked about our objectives for today's lesson. Let's talk a little bit more about the video we're going to watch today. The title of the video is Outer Space, and the speaker is Bill Nye. Does anybody know who Bill Nye is? No? Okay. Bill Nye was a teacher, a scientist, and a TV show host. He had his own show called Bill Nye the Science Guy. And on that show, he acted like a teacher, or actually, he was a teacher, and he taught people about all different topics in science. So, we are going to watch part of an episode today about outer space. Before we do that, though, let's look at some words we're going to hear today. The first one is this one. What's this word? Yes, distance. Very good. What does distance measure? Does anybody know? Sean? Very good. Distance measures how far away something is from us. So let's think about distance in the solar system. How far away is the sun from the Earth? Take a guess. Any guesses? Kitty, yes? 10,000 kilometers? That's a good guess. Annie, yes? 1,000,000 kilometers? That's a good guess too. We'll learn that today. Bill Nye uses lots of models. He uses things like pens and balls to show us the distances in space, right? Because distance in space is so huge, we need something that will help us make sense of it. So he likes using props to illustrate distance in space. So we'll watch for that today. Another word or another phrase is this one. What's this phrase? Light year. Good. What's a light year? Does anybody know? I know you know, Sean. How about, who have I not called on? Jenny. Do you know what a light year is? Or take a guess. Light year. Okay. It's good. It's the distance that light travels in 1 year. Excellent. Does light travel fast or slow? Yes, very good. Light travels very quickly. It's very fast. Excellent job. Another word that he uses a lot is this word. What's this word? Whoa. When do we use that word? What does it mean? Right, like, whoa, that dog is huge, right? It's an exclamatory. It's an exclamation. He uses this word a lot to show us how excited he is about science. That's one of the great things about Bill Nye, is that he loves science and he gets excited and he wants us to be excited too. So let's talk a little bit more about him, about Bill Nye. So he hosted the show Bill Nye the Science Guy from 1992 to 1998. Before that, though, he was a mechanical engineer. Mechanicals engineers, anybody know what they do? No? Okay, this is hard. Mechanical engineers, they make or they design machines or tools that are usually used in factories. So he was making very special machines. But he also did something else before he hosted this TV show. He was also a comedian. What does a comedian do? Yes, good. A comedian makes us laugh. Excellent. So those are two different things, right? You have to have very different skills to be a mechanical engineer and a comedian. So today when we're watching this video, I want you to think about how he acts as both a scientist and a comedian, because he does act as both things at the same time. So Bill Nye is known for using lots of humor and lots of stunts to make science interesting. Does anybody know what a stunt is? Yes, yes, very good, Jenny. It's like a motorcycle stunt, right? A motorcycle stunt is dangerous, boring. It's dangerous, very good. Stunts are things made to get people's attention. They could be dangerous, they could be silly, but they're designed or they're made to make people pay attention to you. So why do you think he used stunts in his TV show? Why would you use stunts to teach about science? Yes, Sean, it's very interesting. Excellent. Very good. Okay, So we'll learn more about how he makes science interesting for us today. One of the ways that he does this is he uses conversational style when he's on his show. Let's break that down. What do we do in a conversation with someone? How do we act? How do we talk? Are we very formal or are we more informal? Very good. Conversation is more informal, right? Let's compare that to how a teacher speaks during class. Is it formal or informal? Very good. Most teachers are very formal when they teach, right? And when you're in a lecture or when you're in a classroom and the teacher's talking to you, do you talk a lot or do you mostly listen? Hopefully you have a chance to talk, but sometimes, right? Sometimes it's mostly the teacher talking. What about a conversation? How are those different? Very good. In a conversation, both people are talking, right? Excellent. So Bill Nye wanted to make his shows less of a lecture format and more of a conversation. Why do you think he would do that? Take a guess. You don't know? Okay, that's all right. We'll learn that today. But let's think a little bit. Are conversations usually more interesting or less interesting than lectures? Which would you rather be part of, a lecture or a conversation? Good. Yes, most people like conversations more than they like lectures. Good. And Bill Nye knew this, so he wanted to make lessons that were more exciting. He wants to get you interested and he wants you to start thinking about the things that he's teaching you. But can you have a conversation with someone on TV? No, right? So he had to be creative. He used a couple of techniques to make his speaking more conversational. The first one is he had an imagined listener. What's an imagined listener? What do you think? Okay, an imagined listener is someone who is pretending to be the person listening to him as he's talking. So this person is off camera, you can't see them, but you will be able to hear him in this lesson. The imagined listener talks back to Bill Nye. What are some of the things that we say when we're listening to show someone that we're listening? Right, yeah, very good. What else? Yeah, they might ask questions. Very good. So as we're listening to this today, I want you to listen and see if you can hear this imagined listener. Another technique he uses is called rhetorical questions. What's a rhetorical question? Anybody know? No? Okay. A rhetorical question is a question that you ask, but you don't really want to know the answer. You already know the answer. So let's do an example. Whew, it's hot today, isn't it, Annie? Whew. Do I need to know that it's hot, or do I already know that it's hot? Right, I already know. But why do I ask then? Right, I want to show how hot I think it is, right? So give me some examples of some other rhetorical questions. What are some other rhetorical questions we can ask? Yes, it's nice today, isn't it? Very good. Here's one that Bill Nye uses a lot. Isn't that wild? What does wild mean in that sentence? Does it mean like a tiger? Wild? No. Very good. Wild in that case means interesting. So he uses that rhetorical question a lot. I want you to listen and see if you can hear that question today. So on our first listening, we're just going to kick back and listen for the main idea. In the second listening, we'll listen for details of how he uses conversational style. And in the third listening today, we're going to listen for specific details. Are you ready? Okay, here we go.